I told y'all. Y'all didn't believe me. I told y'all. I've been saying. I have been saying. You see, our son using the restroom. I have been saying TCU was going to be in the college football playoff. I said that. I want to say after the fifth game. The fifth game, I was like, yeah, this team is legit. This team is legit. I want to say it's the fifth or seventh game after they beat Oklahoma State. I'm like, yeah, this team is really good. I like they're really good. So I'm trying to take man, TCU has changed college football landscape. The reason why, because everybody's very big on the recruiting stars. Granted, talent does help. But the one thing that made TCU different is their development. So what TCU does is they convert wide receivers to cornerbacks. They convert safeties to defensive ends. They convert safeties to linebackers. They'll turn linebackers to running backs. So they do a lot of, I would call it like, I call it like a vertical integration. So they'll get a player with potential who already has speed, add weight to him, put him in another position that he can succeed at, and blam, you have a flower. Good job, son. Same thing with Jerry Hughes. Jerry Hughes was the same way. Jerry Hughes, I don't know, many people remember Jerry Hughes was a receiver before he played DN. Now look, he's been in the league for what 10 years or so, something like that. You know, so it just lets you know how TCU operate. Like they'll get these fast players and just put them at different positions. Cause you speed to me is like a muscle memory. Once you have the speed down, it is really not hard to maintain that speed. Like if you're already a workout warrior, you already love working out, you love being in the gym, you love being in the practice field, you love doing your drills. If you have the speed, you can really play any position, especially if you have decent height on you. Now, obviously, if you're like 5'7", if you're my height, it's kind of hard to play DN, but you get the gist. Like what they'll do, they'll do it. They'll tailor it from your height. You know what I'm saying, whatever. And so, like that guy Horton, you know, Horton was a safety before he played DN. He was a safety. You know what I'm saying? And he got like 4 sacks against Michigan. Dude's gonna be in a Senior Bowl. Just cold. Like if anybody seen him pressure the quarterback, his feet and his hand placement is like really great. So it just goes to show you that, man. Like I get that, yes, and I see, I know, I understand that stars does matter to a certain point, But if you have great development, the stars really matter? Not really, not really. Not if you have great development. Because think about it, the past 10 years, I'm pretty sure Michigan has had a better recruiting class than TCU. Matter of fact, I'm 100% sure. I'm a follower of the Big 12. I follow all the Big 12 teams. I keep up with all the Big 12 teams, all the way from Texas all the way down to West Virginia. I follow them very closely. A lot of the players, you know, probably played against each other. Yeah, probably played against some of their cousins. You know what I'm saying? So I follow Big 12 very close. And I can definitely say, to me, I think the Big 12 has like some of the best development programs in the nation, especially when it comes to offense, and especially when it comes to speed. Now, a lot of people always ask me, so why Oklahoma couldn't do it? Man, good job, son. I see. Yeah, I gotta understand, man. It is hard to win in college football. Let's just get that out. Let's just throw that out there. It's very difficult. Like you're not just gonna show up and just win. Like it takes a dog fight. I'm just saying they do have 85 players for a reason. So I'm just saying the 85 players. You're not playing on Saturday if you're trash. Let's get that one. And then being in the college football playoff, you're playing against the elite of the elite. So yes, Oklahoma did go 4 times. They lost all 4 times. But you got to understand too, when they went, the first time they went, they had no. The two previous times they went, the first 2 times, I don't think they had the same defensive coordinator. And scheme matters. So your defensive coordinator matters, and your scheme matters. So if your defensive coordinator has to recruit different type of players every year, it hurts your development. It really, really hurts because you're scheming and developing players according to what you're trying to run. So the reason why TCU is so great is because you guys saying Gillespie has been there. Gillespie's been at TCU for, he came from Stephenville. So he knows the Texas landscape. And then also him having that 3-3-5 that was already, you know, TCU's been running 3-3-5 for years. It's just the nation has caught on to it. But when TCU came into the Big 12, they was running 3-3-5 when they came from the Mountain West. So they've always had the 3-3-5. It's just, yeah, crayon, go color. Gillespie, he took it to another level. Not color on that. He just took it to another level. So um yeah, man. Just goes to show you that, hey, the stars do matter. I'm not gonna lie. Like, cause obviously a lot of great programs, they do things a little differently. So like if you have like Ohio State, you got your Michigans, your TCUs, your Oklahoma State. They all run things differently. So you may have some who are really big on getting players out of high school. But the one thing that's great about this transfer portal now is that you can plug and play. So, see if you need to fill some holes and you need some quality starters, you can go get a player at the transfer portal who's been a starter at Louisiana Monroe, who's been a starter at SMU, who's been a starter at Northwestern, who's been a starter at Penn State. And what that does for your program is give you continuity. It gives you an area of strength, and it also gives you an area where you can help your team get to that top. And that's what TCU did. TCU was already developing players at a fast rate, but what set them apart is what they was able to plug and play, and they was able to get players out the transfer portal. And you see now is paid dividends because they have the center, who I think is a great player. I think he'll be playing on Sundays. He's really legit. Um, you got the other corner, Newton, Josh Newton. Dude is stacked. Dude came from Louisiana Monroe. You know, I think he'll possibly be playing too. His strength is just crazy. And then you got Hodges, man. I love Hodges. Yeah, go ahead. Hodges is one of them players when you look at him, you'd be like, man, he plays linebacker. Like he's not like a big guy, but man, he get them pads on and he's a playmaker. Like you notice he's everywhere. Like he kind of reminds me of that player a couple years back that played linebacker for Clemson. How he's just very intelligent, always know where to be at. He's always at the right place at the right time. You know, I think Hodges will maybe play on Sundays too. I think he's a great sideline player. Like he can play sideline to sideline. He can get downhill very fast. And as you see in a 3-3-5, you cannot be slow. Everybody on that defense is fast. Everybody from the D ends to that D tackle to the linebackers to the safeties to the corners, like they have speed. As you see with Michigan, like when you're running, like if you're running like a I pro, you're running a dive, you're running a ISO, you think you can run it. You think you have the numbers because you have five and they only got, you may have six and you only see like, six, six in the box. And you're like, man, hold on. This is man to man, man. We gonna do that. They split us wide. Man, let's take it. Soon as you're thinking about taking it, you got somebody over the top. You got somebody coming from up under. You got somebody slicing through. You got somebody swimming through. And so now you done went from thinking it's only 3 or 4 players. Now you got like 8 players. And they done tackled you for a loss. And you like, hold on. What the hell just happened? And that's what happened to Michigan. I don't think Michigan was expecting that. Because, when you play in the Big Ten is a lot of power football. So it's very cold up there. You know what I'm saying? So speed does matter in the Big Ten because they fast too. Don't get me wrong, they're not slow, but they don't have the speed like a Big 12. So when they was trying to run, they found out quickly that TCU was just so fast that they was getting off their block so fast that it just wasn't working. And so they found themselves down by 20 points. I think if Michigan would have kept trying to run the ball, they probably got blown out the water. I'm just saying they had to run. They had to throw the ball. They had to. You can be patient all you want, but if you're getting stalemated and if you're getting tackled for loss, you put your offense in a tough predicament. So now that play caller has to come up with plays for 2nd and 13. And as you know, when you play in a D1, it's hard as hell to get them yards. It's hard to get inches. Imagine trying to get 13 yards every other play. That's why I say with Georgia, if Georgia tries to play physical, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. What TCU does, they're gonna spread you out, and so it makes it difficult for linemen. You know, Usually like if you have teams that play. A lot of teams in college ball they play either 3-4 or 4-3. So linemen, you call it a hat on a hat. They can get a hat on a hat and start moving guys, but once you start trying to get linemen in space to block guys, that's difficult. It's very difficult because TCU's so fast. So what happens is either you have to have a great block or it's going to be a hold. It's going to be one of them two. To try to block somebody in 3-3-5, your linemen have to be able to move. They have to be able to really get on the go. And so it's very hard to kind of really pinpoint where the blitz will be coming from. So you may have a free safety who's coming from the high low, or you may have a strong safety who's coming from that other side because their blitz is coming from anywhere. And that's hard to diagnose if you're running. It's very difficult, especially for a running back, because when you're running the ball, you can't really see where the blitz is coming from because your vision is kind of cut off. Because one, you have your linemen who are in front of you, and two, you're looking for holes, so you're trying to be patient. So it's very difficult to try to diagnose and be like, okay, the blitz coming from this way, I got to cut it back this way. And if you think you cut it back that way, when you have a safety over the top who's running a 4-5, who tracking you down, you thought you were about to gain 7 yards. Now you've only gained 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, that's how Michigan just got exhausted. Trying to run the ball, it was hard. Even though they ran for over 100 yards, it was some hard ass 100 yards. Donovan Edwards is no scrub. Dude's a 5-star back, and he could not outrun TCU. So just kind of let you know that Georgia's not going to be able to pound the ball. I'm just letting y'all know you're not running 200 yards against TCU. It's just not happening. It's just too difficult. Now, I think Georgia's going to try to definitely. Brock Bowers is definitely going to be very involved, very very involved, and they're going to try to definitely hit him over the top. So it's going to be a great game. But man, I think TCU has definitely changed the national landscape. It shows that you can now win with recruiting a different type of way. Shout out how we do it. Hey, baby, the wife is up, y'all. Say hi, mama. Peace, love, happiness. And yeah, I got to show y'all the beautiful bundle of joy again. Drew, say hi again. You in the video. Say hi again. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. Hey, mama.